On this day in Portugal, my mind was filled with quiet anticipation. There were a few things planned that I was genuinely excited about. I was headed to Évora, but first I had to get to the bus station. I took the underground and left myself plenty of time for flexibility. If everything went smoothly, I hoped to stop at a couple of bakeries along the way. This day was planned, but left room for curiosity and flexibility. It felt important to begin the day paying attention and to practice noticing. I had a concert later that night, so I wanted to find the arena and know where I would need to be. It was right by the water, so I sat down and had a peaceful breakfast. I caught the bus and started the next leg of my journey. The bus was delayed by traffic for nearly an hour, but instead of resisting it, I let the time stretch. I sat next to a woman my age from Brazil, and we talked about travel and art through translation apps on our phones. Our conversation was fragmented and imperfect, but generous. It reminded me how temporary and specific these moments are, and how they only exist because we happen to be moving through the same space at the same time. When I arrived in Évora, I followed a small walking route I had planned. My first stop was the gardens. I wandered past the constructed ruins. They weren't ancient, but they were built to resemble something already lost. A quiet reminder of how often we try to preserve the feeling of permanence, even when we know it isn't real. I sat in the park for a while, eating another treat, people watching, bird watching. I continued on to the Church of São Francisco. The space felt dense with history. Ornate details, azulejos lining the walls, telling stories in fragments and repetition. It was evidence of our need to leave something behind, to say I was here. We bones that are here await yours. That's the inscription above the doorway that had stayed with me long before the visit, and standing beneath it, I felt its weight fully. The Chapel of Bones was why I came here. It isn't meant to shock, it's meant to wake you up. The chapel doesn't ask you to fear death, but to remember it, to recognize that your time is finite and therefore precious. This trip to Portugal has been about embracing that kind of resonance, allowing places to challenge me, to sit with discomfort, and to make meaning out of life. Inside the complex, there is also an exhibition of work by young artists. Seeing new creative voices alongside such an explicit reminder of mortality felt especially moving. Creation and impermanence existing side by side. I wandered through the city center, eventually making my way to the Cathedral of Évora. I almost didn't go in. I hesitated at the cost, unsure if it would be worth it. But I risked the few euros and started climbing the stairs. When I finally reached the top, the view opened all at once. The city stretched outward in every direction. White buildings, terracotta roofs, open land dissolving into the horizon. Évora felt both intimate and vast at the same time. From above, everything softened. The heat, the distance, the passing of time. I stood there longer than expected, breathing slow, thoughts quiet. After spending the day reflecting on impermanence, on bones and what remains, the view offered something gentler. Not permanence, but continuity. A reminder that even as individual lives pass, something carries on. Looking out over Évora, I felt small in the most comforting way. Not insignificant, just momentary. A single presence inside a much larger story, and for a while, that was enough. I continued on to the Roman Temple and Garden of Diana, remnants of lives and civilizations long gone. Later in the afternoon, I stopped at a pastry shop. Inside, the case was full of small, carefully made pastries. I chose a few without overthinking it and carried them out to the city square. I gathered some snacks and drinks from the supermarket for my bus ride home to Lisbon. This day was about slowing down. Even with a plan in place, I was starting to feel comfortable and confident in my traveling. The sense of independence and self-reliance was building. I was still being thoughtful and organized, but leaving room for the excitement of the unknown, for new discovery, and for calm moments. That night, I closed the day with a concert near the bus station in Lisbon. Till Lindemann happened to be performing in Lisbon. The shift was jarring and perfect. It was all noise, energy, and spectacle. A reminder that being alive is not just quiet reflection, but intensity and excess and presence. The Chapel of Bones asks you to remember that you will not be here forever. But days like this, slow, attentive, and unexpected, make me feel grateful that I am here now.